Well, the great challenge of our time is to make sure that America is ready to compete for the jobs and the industries of the future, creating a foundation of economic growth that involves doing what Americans have always done best, discovering, creating, and building products that are sold all over the world. Those are the words of President Barack Obama, and part of a goal to double American exports over the next 5 years. Today, we're going to look at just some of the work being done locally to increase sales globally. And we begin at a small port along a small river that few Oklahomans even know exists. The harvest may be over, but the work's not yet done for Oklahoma wheat grower Don Schieber. Schieber's semi-load of wheat is heading overseas, a journey that begins here at Oklahoma's Port 33.
They set a record a year ago, 395 loads of wheat in one day. That's a lot of grain in one day.
More than half of the wheat grown in the state is exported abroad, made easier by this waterway that connects everyone from farmers like Schieber to an array of Oklahoma companies to export markets all around the globe.
The amount of grain that comes in and out here varies, of course, according to harvest and pricing, but we'll average around 12 to 14 million over the last 4 years.
Giving local farmers global access and oftentimes better prices.
A typical day will be 300 to 400 trucks a day. We picked a couple of years ago about 2 million tons per year, and you figure that out by 25 tons per truckload coming in. You got to handle a lot of trucks. Right now we'll be running probably, I'd say about 400 trucks a day. Between the grain coming in, we handle large volumes of fertilizer, bulk fertilizer going out, and then our industrial bulk commodities that we handle for the cement plants and petroleum coke for refineries, pig iron for foundries, so on and so forth.
Pretty much a pipeline for Oklahoma agriculture to the rest of the world.
You know, it's funny you should say that, Rob, because the McClellan-Kerr, Arkansas River is about 50% of the tonnage on the river, maybe 60%, is all due to ag commodities. The largest product shipped is grain going down the river system and fertilizer coming up. Then you also have some large quantities of continuous steel, but ag commodities are the largest commodity shipped pretty much on any river system.
Close to 50 people work here and at the neighboring Port of Muskogee, loading and unloading a myriad of materials, from dry fertilizer to large industrial items that are difficult to ship any other way. Now, while grain does remain the major commodity that's shipped out of Port 33, come the end of harvest time, the port is far from shut down. In fact, a variety of items come out of Port 33 on that 1,000-mile, 2-week journey to the Port of New Orleans. For the captain and crew aboard this tow, life on the river does go by at a bit slower pace. What they don't have in speed, though, they make up in bulk. Nearly 11.7 million tons of goods with a value of over $2.3 billion were shipped last year along this navigational system.
This is a great tool to keep this low-cost transportation active for this state and the surrounding states.
Fred Taylor is the vice president of Johnson's Port 33 and says when it comes to moving any number of bulk materials, there's no better way than river barge.
You know, this facility handles a tremendous amount of grain that seeks its way to New Orleans for export as well as domestic mills within the United States. And then beyond that, a tremendous amount of fertilizers, petroleum cokes, iron ores, cement, steels, bauxites, aluminas, and the list goes on.
And while truck or rail transportation might be faster, a single river barge can carry as much cargo as 60 semis or 15 rail cars on a journey that may be leisurely in pace, but unrivaled in its magnitude. Now, the waterway that serves Port 33 is the most inland river port with access to international markets in our entire nation. Now, more than 20 years in construction and at a cost at the time of $1.2 billion. The McClellan-Kerr Waterway was completed in 1971, thanks in large part to Oklahoma Senator Robert S. Kerr. Now, later in the show, we're going to take you to a museum and a conference center that honors the longtime lawmaker's life.